Welcome back, everyone. Megan, how is that sound? Is the sound okay? You can just write it in the chat box. Okay. Sorry about that, everyone. Thank you for your patience. And I'm so glad that we could gather back on to this live stream. So, okay, good. Thanks, Pamela. So happy to hear that. Sorry about that, everyone. Okay, let's start again. So today we'll be reading about the second aspect, or the second emanation, also known as the second emanation of green Tara from the Sophia Code, in green Tara's initiation, which can be found in chapter 8 of the Sophia Code. Every chapter in section 2 of the Sophia Code contains an initiation that activates your divine genome, which allows for the spiritual technology of your body to awaken and to allow for that light of your own divinity, your own sovereign divinity, which we talk about endlessly in the Sophia Code. The truth of your sovereign divinity has the ability to download through the technology of your human body. So we go into great detail about this. Hi, Amy, in chapter 2 of the Sophia Code. But for the purpose of today, this is day 2 of Green Tara, our journey with Green Tara through her Keycode 3 initiation. Green Tara is known as She of 1,000 Stars in the Sophia Code. And the reason why that's her Sophia embodiment title is because Green Tara is a Keycode mentor for us in the Sophia Code of what it means to be connected to an interstellar transmission of Sophia Christ consciousness. I think for a lot of people that would be tuning into this channel, the conversation about life on other planets or other parts of the universe is not so far out for you, but I don't want to assume anything. What is important to understand, though, is that the more that we spiritually awaken, the more that we become aware of who we are as sovereign divine beings, the more that we become aware of the truth of our divine inheritance, the more that we become aware of how unlimited we are. Just one soul, how unlimited one soul is, let alone the billions upon billions of souls that God has created in her image and likeness. We begin to understand that perhaps our journey has gone on much longer than just this lifetime, and definitely much further than on this planet alone. Now, many of you have had many lifetimes on Earth, both during different golden ages and during dark ages, such as the one that we are working so diligently to transmute right now into the next golden age of miracles. Green Tara, when we meet her in the Sophia Code, she is sharing with us about in the first part of her chapter, she's sharing with us about how she ascended from a planet called Karnak in the Syrian star nation, and how her time on Karnak was very similar to the time we are living in right now on Earth. Her people spent eons, centuries upon centuries, thousands of years exploring their free will through dark agendas that would harm themselves, to, by default, awaken themselves to the truth of their divine light. What's interesting about the times that we are facing right now is that they are creating a crucible for us to discover the incredible and unlimited power of our sovereign divine light. So eventually, Karnak ascended into the truth of its own sovereign divinity. Eventually, the people of Karnak realized, we no longer want to learn about our light through the darkness. We want to learn about our light from the light. We no longer need to be oppressed to spiritually mature or evolve. We will now choose to become spiritually mature through focusing solely upon our divine love. And so Tara incarnated over and over and over again on Karnak as a master teacher for her people of what it would look like to choose love over fear, to choose sovereignty over enslavement, to choose the beauty way over annihilation. So she is well versed in how not just a species such as humanity can ascend, but how an entire planet can ascend. And that's very, very important for us right now, because the reason why we're witnessing, I'm hearing Green Tara already transmitting, the reason why we're experiencing so much darkness on this planet right now is because we're ready to make a huge shift into the next level of our enlightenment. There are enough people on this planet that are educated, that are healthy, that the light switches are flipped on. Now, that's not to say there aren't billions of people who are absolutely fast asleep and enslaved to the 3D matrix on this planet. That's all true too. But there's enough of a tipping point right here and right now. You and I, all of the light workers around the world, all of the earth angels that have incarnated at this time to make the big shift. Our light is that bright that we're feeling such an oppressive pushback at this time with the CV crisis, which if you dig deep enough, you will understand it is not just a flu virus. It is a bioengineered virus that, interestingly enough, was let loose in the midst of 5G being activated around the world, being flipped on around the world, including in New York and Seattle, which has the highest rates of death from CV right now. There's an interesting correlation going on with the amount of toxicity from chemtrails in our environment, from what's the absolute shocking amount of radiation that's coming off of these 5G networks. And the fact that about 10 years ago, the US government lifted all bans on engineering bioweapons and being able to explore what it would be like to have that in its arsenal. So if you start to connect these dots, a lot of pieces are going to come together in your unconscious where you understand, wow, it's not really a luxury anymore to ignore that we're living amidst a global war, not against nation to nation, a global war against humanity. It's important. It's important to understand that that's what we're all surviving. It doesn't mean you have to live in fear, because living in fear is not going to change the result of the global war. But it is good for you to be informed, because when you're informed, you can understand why there's a fire within your heart for such that wants to initiate such great change at this time on the planet. Our very lives are at stake. The future for our children is at stake if enough people do not awaken to the truth of their sovereign divinity at this time. When I first channeled when I started to channel the Sophia Code 7 years ago, it took me 7 years to channel this sacred text. And it's been released for 4 years. It's been an international bestseller ever since. And when I was really coming to the close of finishing the last chapters and polishing it up to be released into the world, I knew that this was a sacred text for the times we were living in. But I think there was a part of me that was challenged to really speak about how it was written for some very pivotal and challenging times ahead of us that I knew were coming, but I knew that humanity wasn't really ready to listen to all of the warning signs and red flags around us. However, when the entire world population is locked in their houses, people are finally considering what it would mean to listen, not only to the red flags that we've been ignoring, but also to consider what is the solution to this madness, the solution to all insanity, as Green Tara shares in her chapter 8 of the Sophia Code. Excuse me, her chapter is chapter 9. No, chapter 8. I glitched. Chapter 8 of the Sophia Code, her solution is always you embodying your sovereignty. And we did a very powerful equinox ceremony just last week. And you can catch that replay. It's available through my website. Please feel free to email us. We're happy to get you in the direction of how to get your hands on the video replay. Everyone should receive those activations right now. It's very, very important. So green TARE, let's come back full circle to green TARE. I started mentoring with green TARE at a time when I was in great suffering and great pain. I was very much immersed in my personal healing journey from healing from 18 years of rape and torture, including military torture and being held in and raised in specific military programs that were connected to rape, child trafficking, satanic ritual use in our government. And so when green TARE really came into my reality, my heart was broken into 1,000 pieces. And I write about that in the preface of the Sophia Code. And when she appeared to me first in a lucid dream. Isis, Ascended Master Isis, who's Keycode 1 of the Sophia Code, she came to me several days before the dream. She said, green TARE is about to come into your life in a really big way. And we need you to remember your lifetimes where you were in training to green TARE in other lifetimes, both on this planet and in others. And we need you to understand that she's going to come in really strong to start training and mentoring you. This was 10 years before I even knew I was going to write the Sophia Code. Only 4 months later, this Tanka appeared in my life from Tibet. It was given to me as a gift. Thanks, Sophia God, for that divine intervention. And I have sat in countless hours of meditation staring into her face. The markings on her face are actually from the incense from the temples that she was being meditated with in Tibet. This is a very, very powerful Tanka that I feel very privileged to share with you. There's a very powerful transmission from TARE that's coming right out of this Tanka towards you right in this moment. And so the reason why green TARE currently represents the most ancient of key codes in the Sophia Code is because these are the times we need green TARE most. These are the times where we need to understand that this is an interstellar war as well as an interstellar angelic mission for all species that are involved with what's unfolding on this planet to remember the truth of our sovereign divinity and to return to our direct connection with God. Green TARE walked her planet Karnak through that whole process. Both the reconciliation and the healing, and then the activation into their sovereign light, so much so that their planet literally merged with a star in the Sirius system, and they became a planet of light. Ultimately, this is what's going to happen for us on Earth as well. We are going to merge into the light, into that Sophia Christ light, both of our sun and within the sun of our own souls. And we're going to be living in a very different experience of physical reality. We're not even close to there yet. What we're working on right now is helping most of humanity actually heal. Better yet, what we are currently in the trenches of is extending our arms and our hands into some very dark places and doing our best to invite souls that are totally broken and totally lost. And we're saying, hey, everything the world has told you is a lie about who you are. You are not enslaved. You are not separate from God. You do not need to worship a divinity outside of yourself. Your bank account does not have any reflection on how blessed and precious you are, no matter what you have lost, no matter how much you've been traumatized, no matter how many family members or friends you have lost to this global war and this agenda of annihilation and rape consciousness that is rampant on this planet. You are loved, you are connected, and we are here for you. That is the message of the Sophia Code movement. That's the message of our mystery school, and that's the message of the Sophia Dragon Chat. No soul left behind. We do not leave our family of light behind. And that's why green TARE didn't ascend into the higher realms, which she could have done, and just been like, hey, see you later. I ascended from Karnak. I've got nothing left to do but sit on my beautiful white cloud and eat bonbons. She was like, heck no, I'm going to Earth and I'm going to incarnate as a golden dragon teacher, an ascended master golden dragon teacher for this planet. And so she appeared to the Tibetan Buddhist people in a golden age called Shambhala. And so we are blessed to receive her teachings from there. And as what happens in every indoctrinated religion, there are eventually original teachings can get lost to dogma or ritual. And so what the Sophia Code represents in chapter 8, in Green Tara's Keycode 3 initiation, is what she told me it was. She asked me to write a new divine feminine Buddhist canon that was written from the first perspective of the divinity within you. So the original Buddhist canons are said to Green Tara, where they are worshiping and they are marveling at the emanations of Tara as a deity. And I want to say on this call, there is nothing wrong with that. If that is your practice, God bless you. Thank you for practicing your spirituality exactly as you are being called to honor the Dharma that has traversed centuries and has remained intact because of so many good nuns and monks holding these treasures in their hearts. And with that said, when Green Tara mentored me for years, and she brought me into enough of the teachings to understand how she wanted her vehicle of consciousness in the Sophia Code to be shared with us in an entirely new way. According to her heart's prayer for how she wanted us to reconnect with her at this time directly through this direct communion, not in the way where we were meditating upon her to rescue us. She wants us to meditate upon her to discover the swift savioress that is within us, both for us and to activate that savior energy for this world. In the sense of not that you can save any soul the way there's a doctrine, around a guru or Jesus saving someone's soul. It's not like that. You become a savior for this world when you embody and radiate your sovereign divinity. You become a wayshower, a transmitter, a cell phone tower, shall we say, of your divine light. And that divine light, you're a grounding rod for the lightning of your own divinity, right? The Dakinis teach us that true divine consciousness strikes like lightning. True divine consciousness is as sharp as the facet of a diamond. It just cuts through our illusions and our ego structures about what we think is real. And so when you choose to embody your sovereign divinity, yes, you are walking as a savior for this world, because you are saving the world by radiating the truth of what's real for all of us. And in the Sophia Code, we talk about how we are all meant to walk as the one body of Sophia Christ consciousness, as one golden dragon body of light. Radical embodiments of this consciousness that transmit to billions of souls that have forgotten, that are entrapped, as they would say in Buddhism, in samsara, or realms of hell. Does hell exist? Absolutely. It's here on earth. You don't have to die to go find it. It's right here. Every day, bombing in Syria, every day, a bioweapon of CV spread all over the world to lock everybody else in their houses. Every day, military torture, child rape trafficking, Luciferian Satanist rituals happening behind closed doors of government buildings every day. And in Roman Catholic churches every day. Hell is right here, baby. You don't got to go dying to find it. And so is heaven. You are heaven on earth. And that's what this initiation, the Keycode 3 initiation, is walking us through. We must identify with the very same qualities of Green Tara within us, because they do in truth exist within us in our divine genome. Within every cell of our body, there is a divine genome that ensures that no matter what circumstances you incarnate into, such as my own in circumstances of being raped and tortured every day of my life, enslaved, but the truth is I was still sovereign. My innocent nature, still invincible. That is what Green Tara teaches us in chapter 8 of the Sophia Code. And the same is true for you. So as we receive these very powerful teachings, radically liberating teachings about how we can unshackle ourselves from centuries of our own suffering. And if you think, well, I've had a pretty blessed life, haven't been any of those things that happened to you, Kaia, I don't know if I'm really suffering. If you are in a human body, you are suffering in some way just by default, are incarnating into a collective consciousness of humanity. Its ancestral DNA is filled with suffering that you and I came here to transmute by the very breathing inside of these carbon water bags that we're walking around in our beautiful human bodies. That by default is a path of transmuting suffering both for yourself and all of humanity. And what's interesting about the ego structure that Green Tara mentors us beyond is when we start to feel as though, oh, there's no place for me to really go deeper in your spiritual journey and in your spiritual awakening, especially during this global war on the truth of who we really are. Ask yourself to go deeper in those moments. Identify for yourself, oh, okay, that's my ego structure contracting, and there may be a place within you that may be codependent or addicted to suffering, or tapping in so much to the collective suffering. I'm hearing Tara say, and it might be hard to extract yourself from it. That's a very prominent point at this particular moment when there's so many people suffering. And Tara is saying, be brave enough to go inside those uncomfortable places at this time to access your most radiant embodiment. Be very, very slow to say, I'm done with my healing journey. Because if you're still here, you're still a part of our healing journey, at the very least. So part of our healing journey is our journey of empowerment. And the Keycode 3 initiation in the Sophia Code is an ultimate journey of empowerment that you can read out loud at your altar or in your sacred space. And again, this is a journey through the 21 emanations of Tara that's written as a journey of the 21 qualities or aspects of Green Tara that already exist within you. As you read this Keycode 3 initiation out loud, you are training your consciousness, you are opening your awareness, you are, and in fact, activating your DNA to begin to accept that this is the truth of your divine nature, nothing less. And this is what you came here to embody as a radical wayshower of Sophia Christ's light at the darkest of times on this planet. We are here to build bridges of light through our consciousness, willing to accept that this is the truth of who we really are and nothing less than that. So yesterday, we explored the truth of the first aspect of Keycode 3 within us, which is I am the swift one of heroic glory. And so these titles, each of these titles are Green Tara asked me to take these titles that are traditionally used as titles for her, and she asked me to rewrite them as titles for you to identify these qualities within you. So the swift one of heroic glory. And the second aspect that we're going to dive into today is I now recognize and activate the second aspect of Keycode 3 within me. I'm reading from page 153 of the Sophia Code, if you'd like to read along with me. And someone just asked, how can I end my suffering? That is a very broad question that could take a very long time to answer. But I can assure you that this is the first step. Reading the Sophia Code out loud, it creates new neurological patterns within your body, heart, and mind that teach your body, heart, and mind that it does not have to be attached to the suffering of the past or the suffering of the future. We can learn how to be in this world, but not of this world, just as Jesus and Mary Magdalene taught us in the Bible and in the Sophia Code. So when we read this initiation out loud, we are activating our body, hearts, and minds to the truth of who we really are through the power of our voice. So let's read this out loud together. On page 153 of the Sophia Code, I now recognize and activate the second aspect of Keycode 3 within me. I am the one of supreme peace. Pure as autumn moonlight, and bright as 1,000 constellations. My innocent nature reflects the supreme peace of my divinity's light. As a wayshower for all, I walk upon the rays of my guiding light innocence, to live an authentic peace with myself, abiding in the supreme peace that arises from following my heart. I am a living foundation for building heaven on earth realities, for the liberation of all beings. TARE, TUTTARE, TURE, SOHA. So let's talk about this passage. Pure as autumn moonlight, I am the one of supreme peace, pure as autumn moonlight, and bright as 1,000 constellations. At this time of terror, we are literally being terrorized by these fearful agendas as a population. What could be the most radical decision you could make? It could be, I am the one of supreme peace. Try me. Try shaking my supreme peace. I dare you. I double dare you. I am the one of supreme peace. What an incredible commitment to make in the face of so much global annihilation. Pure as autumn moonlight and bright as 1,000 constellations. What does moonlight do? What would 1,000 constellations do in a dark sky? It would light up that darkness, that empty space with the warmth and the rays of a holy fire. Moonlight is the reflection of a solar consciousness. Pure as autumn moonlight. Autumn is the time of harvest. Autumn is the time of fulfillment. That moon resonance, that divine feminine resonance that reflects back that very powerful masculine solar Christ consciousness into this world. It means that you are containing both at the same time. Very, very powerful as you orbit around an entire planet. My innocent nature reflects the supreme peace of my divinity's light. That is an interesting statement. My innocent nature reflects the supreme peace of my divinity's light. Your innocent nature, Green Tara teaches in her chapter, cannot be bought, stolen, manipulated, or torn away from you. There is nothing that could have happened to you. There's nothing that has happened to you or could happen to you that would make you anything less than your innocent divine nature. That innocent pure nature is pure consciousness that was given to you directly from God, for you are made in the image and likeness of God, and nothing less than that. The dark agendas of this planet would have us believe that we are somehow broken or separate from our innocent nature, that somehow we have fallen from grace. But we are the grace of this world. Our innocent nature is literally the light that burns away the darkness of all of those lies that would be placed upon who we really are. When you hear the laughter of a child who is in a pure state of joy and connection with their own heart and the earth, there is nothing that is more powerful to listen to. It is so pure and it cuts through everyone's hearts and puts everybody in an instantaneous place of happiness and peace. That same resonance of pure childlike innocence exists within you. That same pure innocence also exists as a radical discernment. It's not just childlike. We often associate innocence with this childlike, naive energy. But first of all, childlike doesn't have to mean naive to start. And second of all, innocence is when there's a radical purity that can literally see through all lies. And that is the heart of discernment. Further, innocence can not only see through the agenda of all lies, it can see into the heart of what we really need. My innocent nature reflects the supreme peace of my divinity's light. So your innocent nature has the power to see right through these lies, and it literally has the power to access the solutions from your divinity's light that we need in this world. It's a very, very powerful statement if you spend enough time with it. Next sentence. Again, we're reading from page 153 if you're just joining us from the Sophia Code. As a wayshower for all, I walk upon the rays of my guiding light innocence to live in authentic peace with myself. How does this heal the world? Think about how many people in this world have compromised themselves to make money in ways that are not healthy for themselves or others. Think about how many people have compromised themselves and chosen to make decisions about our environment or what they're going to do with their children or even their elders that harms our society. Think about how many times people have felt broken and then made choices that were broken because they weren't allowing themselves to follow their own hearts. Now, I want us to remember that as I'm speaking this into reality, this is not coming from a place of judgment. We're just examining from the witness place what happens when we don't follow the guiding light innocence of our heart. It happens to all of us at different points in our life. We know what happens. Things start to get weird. Sometimes they get really off. We can even experience a great deal of pain when we're not really following the truth of our hearts, this guiding light innocence. What's interesting for me about this statement, I walk upon the rays of my guiding light innocence to live in authentic peace with myself. The rays of your guiding light innocence in this statement are literally going ahead of you to create the path for you to walk upon. So if you were to begin to practice this relationship of following your heart, listening to your heart, being curious about what your heart wants to heal, what your heart wants to speak, where your heart wants to go next as a more authentic expression, a more authentic chapter in your life. That innocence isn't just asking you to do it blindly. It's becoming the light in the darkness of our suffering. It's literally becoming the light, the path of light for you to walk upon amidst all of the illusions. It's clearing everything out for you. If you spend enough time embodying this guiding light innocence of your own divinity, not only does it create the path before you to walk upon, you start walking that path, and by default, you become a way shower for all. Fascinating. But then what's the end result of walking the truest, most authentic path of your own heart's innocence? Number one, it creates the clear path for you to walk the way ahead of you. Number two, you end up becoming a way shower for others who are terrified of doing the same thing for themselves. Number three, the good news is that, and the best news is that you live an authentic peace with yourself. I walk upon the rays of my guiding light innocence to live in authentic peace with myself. Whoa. Mary Magdalene in her angels, in her chapter of the Sophia Code, chapter 10, she references when Jesus taught, a house divided against itself will fall. This is how the house of humanity is falling right now. It's because humanity has been divided against itself. It doesn't believe that it is divine. It doesn't believe that it's one with God. And so every time we choose to embody the truth, we are literally creating that path, that light, the path of light for humanity to consider what it would feel like for it to reconcile with its own innocent divine nature once again, which will then create the pathway home, free from this enslavement and into its sovereignty, into the remembrance of its sovereignty at this time. Let's go to the next sentence, reading from page 153. Abiding in the supreme peace that arises from following my heart, I am a living foundation for building heaven on earth realities for the liberation of all beings. Okay, this is important. The more that you abide in the supreme peace that your divinity is, regardless of all outer circumstances, every time you go to meditate and dial into that presence of your divinity, every time you choose to consciously pray and say, I'm going to embody my higher self in this situation. I'm going to invite the resonance of the Ascended Masters to gather around me. I'm going to mentor with these golden dragon teachers that are keeping my vibrational resonance in such a place that I can continue to abide in the supreme peace, continue to learn what that means every day of my life. What happens is following your heart becomes the practice that you live from every day, which then means that your life is going to change, not overnight. No. We're not selling a 10-step program here. This is not the New Age 10-step program. The Sophia Code is a lifetime of evolution. The Sophia Code is a mystery school that you could spend years of your life mentoring in. This is about embodying your higher self. It involves dismantling so many aspects of your ego structure, one self-loving, one self-compassionate moment at a time, one day at a time, one foot in front of the other, one step at a time. Keeping your feet upon this path of following your heart becomes a practice. Eventually, I teach about this in our Stargate 1 curriculum. Eventually, you forget where you even thought you were headed to in your ideas or your expectations on spirituality. If this becomes an authentic practice, eventually what you discover is that the destination is to just keep being curious about where your heart wants you to go next and to give thanks and enjoy the journey. Eventually, by embodying that journey of how to live from this consciousness, your life begins to shift into a heaven on earth reality. And that's going to be different for everyone, what that looks like. But it's going to be orchestrated, divinely orchestrated according to your own heart's prayer of what heaven on earth looks like for you. Ultimately, no matter what the dynamics of your outer reality are as heaven on earth, the inner workings of the resonance of heaven on earth is always the same. It's source consciousness. It's Sophia Christ consciousness that's choosing to manifest exactly as it needs to be in your life for you to live in health, in grace, in prosperity, in self-forgiveness, with divine love, surrounded by more love, loving people, loving community, loving coworkers, loving clients. These are realities that we can build for ourselves, no matter what's going on in the outer circumstances. And as we do, what happens? Let's read that last part again, that last part of the last sentence. I am a living foundation for building heaven on earth realities for the liberation of all beings. Your embodiment becomes a foundation for everyone else in your reality. Your embodiment becomes a foundation for people you don't even know. Our team receives emails from around the world of people saying that our team's embodiment is affecting them. We don't even know some of these people. But because we are choosing to embody this resonance and follow our heart and continue to pioneer the Sophia Code movement as an international movement day in and day out, we are building a living foundation for heaven on earth. Heaven on earth is not a spaceship that drops out of the sky and something is just automatically fixed out of nowhere. We're the solution. We are here to embody the second aspect of Keycode 3. We are the ones of supreme peace. And through that journey of embodying our supreme peace, we become, as a collective, as an international community, a living foundation for building heaven on earth realities. For who? For the liberation of all beings. Does that mean just the people that are suffering from this global war? No, it actually also means for the perpetrators, which is an interesting conversation. The liberation of all beings and all races that have been caught up in this interstellar warfare, this perceived fall from grace. The fall from grace has happened in our collective mind. It has never happened in the heart of God. Sophia, God loves us unconditionally. She gave us free will so that we could discover the truth of who we really are through a learning experience in form across space and time and across many planetary systems, not just this one. So I know that this is a bit of a galactic transmission today, but it's where Green TARE wanted us to go for this Keycode, for the second aspect, day 2 with Green TARE, the second aspect of the Keycode 3 initiation in the Sophia Code. And to close, I'd like for us to chant together, because we're just going to be chanting Green TARE's mantra, Om TARE TUTTARE TURE SOHA, every day for the next 21 days. Well, today's day 2, so for the next 19 days, we'll continue to do this. And I have my Green TARE mala that I designed. The Green TARE mala that I designed has the Green TARE Sky Dancer medallion on it, which I'm also wearing here around over my heart. Very, very powerful Ascension technology. If you're curious about that, feel free to check out my website, kaia.com. So in Green TARE's chapter, you can read all about this mantra. And we're going to do this mantra together 108 times, which is a sacred round that calms your mind and opens your heart to the transmission and mentorship of Green TARE to touch your consciousness in a new way. So if you've been feeling anxiety or fear, if you've been really having a challenging day, maybe with your children, maybe you just got laid off from your job, I'm not sure. I know that there are so many of us going through so much on this call. I just want you to know, from my heart to yours, how deeply my heart goes out to you, and everything that we're collectively experiencing in this population containment experiment that we are undergoing right now worldwide. And I just want you to know that no matter how frustrating your day has been, no matter how painful or challenging, I want you to know my heart's prayer is that you are not separate from divine love. We are not separate from divine love. There's more divine love here than ever before, because we are that divine love that we are praying to remember is here with us. We were sent to the front lines as literally angels incarnating, living angels in human form. We came here not to fight against anyone. We're not here to fight in the war against anyone or anything. What we're doing is we're learning how to remember who we are and play the game from the top down, from a resonance that's so high. That bar of divine feminine Christ consciousness is so high and so powerful that it activates us from that central core, like the Ark of the Covenant, and radiates our light out, which affects all dimensions simultaneously in a radical way. It literally burns back the need for us to learn from the darkness in these agendas. So I want you to know, from my heart to yours, I know how challenging it is to be this brave. I know how scary it can feel to have your whole reality shooken up. It was bound to happen eventually for all of us. And I just want you to know how grateful I am that you're here, that you're with us. I invite you to take refuge in the Sophia Code as a sacred text. It's here for you during these times. And Green TARE is here to mentor you through these very powerful times where we can all step into the truth. See what she's doing here? We're all here to do that. She's got her right leg stepping forward. And that is her swift compassion, that she is always here on call anytime you need backup, 24 hours a day. You need to feel her compassion. You need to feel her enlightenment. You need to feel her laughter. You need to feel her arms around you. You need to feel her blessings or her emerald rays of healing. Green Tara has got you. She's got your back. In the Sophia Code, that's how it's set up. If you do these initiations with the Ascended Masters, they're there for you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And so I invite you to please take refuge in the resources that are here for you to mentor you and how much is here for you within you. These are the times where we move from spiritual infancy to spiritual maturity. Spiritual infancy is when we go to spirituality like a binky and we wonder, what's in it for me? Spiritual maturity is when we take refuge in our sovereign divinity and the teachings that help us deepen in our connection to that source. And we learn how to comfort ourselves from the good news of who we really are. And then we embody this peace that then radiates and transmits to others, that they have the same capacity to be that powerful themselves. That's true way showing. It's not about fixing anyone. It's about getting really, really clear about who we are, who you are. Having the willingness to sit, as Tara and these Buddhas are showing you, sit with the suffering and resource those rays of that invincible innocence and burn right through it to the spiritual jewels, the dharma of your own soul that is awaiting within you, the spiritual gold, the spiritual wealth that exists within you right here, right now. In the crucible of these dark times, we are becoming the diamond vehicle of Sophia Christ consciousness in human form. So that's a little bit about that. And it can still suck. You can still have all your feelings about not having enough toilet paper or having to deal with like collective fear worldwide. You know, it's okay to have all of your feelings about it and still practice this kind of embodiment. So I've never felt so stretched personally. It's made the past 4 years of my ministry look like training wheels compared to what the past 4 months have felt like for the Sophia Code movement. So I'm right there with you. I get it. And together we're going to persevere and we're going to rise as the way showers that this world needs to step back and to step up into the truth, to step back from these agendas and step up into our sovereignty to shine and radiate the truth of who we really are and who humanity really is. Humanity is beloved in the heart of God. It's time for us to take back our DNA. It's time for us to take back our minds. It's time to take back our hearts. It's time to take back our thought forms. It's time to take back our children. It's time to take back our future. But the only way to do that is through the grace of becoming still and receiving the truth of this Ark of the Covenant light and divine love that exists within us. So as we say these 108 mantras, Green Tara's mantra, I invite you to consecrate this mantra practice to fully embodying the supreme peace of your divinity in the coming hours, days, weeks, and months to come, because we're going to need you to be the one of supreme peace in this world. And you get to have all of your feelings about it. You know, you can be angry and still embody the supreme peace. You can feel sad and still embody the supreme peace. One does not have to cancel out the other. I teach a lot about this in our Stargate curriculums in the Sophia Code Mystery School. For now, let that pearl of a teaching resonate wherever it can land within you, and let us begin. TARE TUTTARE TORE SOHA. 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 Om Tare Tutare Ture 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 Soha. Now, if you are chanting with a mala, you can put your mala around your neck after you chant with it. And when you do that, what's really nice about that is every time you chant with a mala, you're infusing the beads with your prayers. So if you are having a particularly challenging time, you can't sit at your altar and have a little bit of a practice, but you do want to feel deeply connected to your practice, that's when you would wear your mala when you're doing chores around the home or you're at your computer working away. The energy and frequency, the resonance of your prayers of these mantras that you say over and over again on these beads is going to be infusing your heart with the transmission of those mantras right into your heart chakra, right into your solar plexus, right into your throat. So it's a powerful, what's interesting about the mantra practice with a mala is that it's a tool that keeps on giving to you. It's like as you are giving yourself the gift of coming into alignment with this mantra and infusing that mantra into your mala, that mala can be a tool not just for helping you keep count of your sacred rounds, but it helps you, it also can act as spiritual technology that continues to activate your body with the power of those mantras long after you've said your mantra practice. So yeah, it's a little bit about that. Let's spend just a minute and a half to 2 minutes in silent meditation together in this space with green Tara. I'll do a little bit of guidance, but overall, I'm going to just invite us to really be present with the space of silence. Let's take in 3 deep breaths together. And we now invoke green Tara, Keycode 3 of the Sophia Dragon Tribe, She of 1,000 Stars, to come sit with you in meditation. You may feel the presence of Tara arriving either behind you or next to you or in front of you. But it's almost as though when moonlight or starlight pours through a window, there's a lightness and brightness that happens in the space, but it's very subtle. It's a subtle shift, so don't miss it in the silence. And you may even feel like a crystalline laughter because she's so happy to be sitting here in meditation with you. Tara in the multidimensional reality is adorned literally with a crown of living, breathing stars, like little stars in her crown. So it's a living, breathing crown of light. It's so beautiful. You may begin to see her beautiful features. She has a very youthful appearance, but she is very ancient and wise. You may see her tilting her head to the side, just smiling upon you with her crown of stars twinkling over you. And she's saying, rest here now. Take refuge in the invincible transmission of our shared sovereign divinity. allowing the weight and the pressures of this world to fall away. This Taro's presence of supreme peace activates and invokes the one of supreme peace within you. Green Tara is bringing that emerald ray healing light to every one of your light bodies and all of your major chakras in your physical body. This is a cellular baptism of her consciousness, assisting you in releasing old layers of identification about who you think you are so that you can embrace who you really are. And as those beautiful emerald rays wash over your consciousness, wash over your body, heart, and mind, I invite you to visualize that beautiful autumn moonlight growing so bright within you that we read about in the initiation. And thousands of constellations burning bright within the universe that you are. Shedding all limitations for just a moment so that we can repattern our neurology and return to the truth of our sovereign, unlimited divinity, which has the power to be the supreme peace amidst the greatest of darkness, and the supreme peace that can resource the greatest solutions from our own holy, innocent nature, laughing in the face of these global disasters with the reassurance from our very direct and pure connection to the source that we've got this. Sophia, God's divine plan for us to prosper in all ways, will continue to unfold. Divine order will continue to reign in ever increasing measure through our shared embodiment of the Sophia Christ light. And so we say together as a community, as a collective, from the Sophia Code, this is how we close our ceremony. It is done, it is done, it is done. By the power of three, a perfect Trinity. It is done, and so it is. Amen. Green Tara, if we'll continue to be with you this evening and into the day tomorrow. And if you'd like to go deeper with your mentorship with Green Tara, check out Chapter 8 of the Sophia Code. We also have her initiation recorded, so you can listen to it in your sleep or in meditation. That MP3 recording is on my website. Feel free to reach out to us on my website about any questions that you might have as you've experienced this broadcast. And I want to say a very happy birthday. Looks like to Kenzel. I can hardly see the word. Happy birthday, Angel. I'm so glad that you were able to join us for tonight's transmission. All my love to you. We'll see you back here on YouTube tomorrow for day 3 of Green Tara. And I know that we've been getting a lot of questions about the timing, and the truth is that I am so busy right now with work that it's got to be different every day. So the way that I can fit this into how much I'm already serving is that we're gonna have our team angels announce on my social media channels anywhere from 5 to 10 minutes before I go live. And so if you want to subscribe to my fan page, it's Kaia Official on Facebook. Kaira Official on Instagram and Kaira Official on YouTube. So be sure to subscribe to this YouTube channel. Be sure to follow us on Instagram and Facebook. If you've enjoyed this transmission, we give so much thanks for your support of this work. And that's where we'll have our next announcements. Oh, right. And we have a forum, an official forum for international communities. So feel free to email us if you'd like to join our official forum on Facebook, where you can meet other like-minded earth angels just like you, choosing to embody their sovereign divinity every day, walking away. All my love to you. See you tomorrow. Namaste.